Welcome to the Menstrual Awareness pre-event. And I'm so excited for this event. And well, it's such a huge one. And I'd like to introduce Xenia has come to Sacred Heart Valley to propose. I do have a little kids behind in the background. So I'd like to thank Xenia to come to arrive at Sacred Heart Valley to have an engagement with us, to have an engagement with me and also the event team about the whole workshops. It's a series of workshops from October to December, and we were so thrilled that what she brought to us. And it just in this current time moment is so important to share the message, to share the educational piece and information out to the world of what is her story, what is her journey, and also her learning, experience, and also experiment. And I am so honored to have her in here today, that we have the pre-event so that we can dive into deeper, not only her story and also our story. What is our story? To know that really clear of who are you and to remember of who you really are from this human body. As we all know that we are the soul, the spirit in this human body. So from this human body, from within, then we need to know her and also him. So without further ado, I would like to introduce the mic to Xenia. Xenia, over to you now.
Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. And before I start sharing my story, first of all, I would like to thank Sacred Heart Valley and the event team, you, Lillian, Kyle, and Daisy, for this huge support, for this inspiration, encouragement, and actually make this event happen. And also, I would like to thank and welcome Kyle as a divine masculine representative here in our event. So deep thanks, gratitude to all of you. And I am really excited, to share with you this space. I am very grateful that you hold my space and we hold each other's space on this beautiful event, beautiful journey. So I want to invite you to share this journey with me because I'm still on the travel. I have lots to say, but I'm still traveling. I'm still experiencing. I am still searching. And it is a beautiful journey of our menstrual awareness and awareness as well, not only about divine feminine, but divine masculine as well. So I guess maybe you know a little bit about me, maybe you have already read some information, but still I am here to present myself first. I am Xenia, I am Russian. I was born in Siberia, in the Asian part of Siberia, where I spent 23 years. I got my education there. And I finished school, university. I'm a professional language teacher. And I spent 23 years in Siberia. Then I moved to St. Petersburg, to the European part of Russia, to build up my career. I became a successful teacher of languages. I speak 4 of them. But apart from being a teacher, I'm also a body therapist. I practice Reiki since 2013. I'm a master of Reiki. I practice body therapy through holistic pulsing massage. And apart from that, I study emotional freedom techniques. I work with gems. I work with herbs. I'm a street artist and street jeweler. I create jewelry, and mostly I work with women who have menstrual disorders, who have hormonal disorders, women who are pregnant, women who want to get pregnant, breastfeeding women, emotional disorders. And for the last 3-4 years, I create and make and promote and sell all by myself natural cosmetics. So it is about wellness, it is about natural beauty, it is about being well with yourself. But the most reason why I'm here, why I have decided to share menstrual awareness came up out of a deep investigation and the necessity to speak up. So my awakening started at the age of 28 in 2011. I was a successful teacher, famous teacher. I was working in a very popular school. I was an assistant of a director, but I wasn't happy. I felt this emptiness, success around, but emptiness inside. So I started practicing yoga. I started practicing meditation. I started studying different other practices. And I was traveling a lot, inside, outside as well, collecting different things around me, massage, therapy, practice. But the real journey began with my sudden pregnancy. And why I say sudden, this is the most reason why I am here with you and why I am here with you to share my story. So the story begins with childhood. As a child, I was very boyish, an emancipated, rebel human being. And as a result, as you can guess, I didn't accept my feminine. I had no idea what is divine feminine. And it all comes naturally to menstruation and to connection with myself. So when my first period came, I was lost. I didn't have any support. I was in a summer camp, so even my mother was really far from me, and there was nobody to support me in such an important initiation, me, a boyish me, into a young woman, into a woman. So it was a kind of a frustration for me. And actually, in my family, it wasn't a tradition to talk about menstruation, to talk about sexuality, to talk about sex, to talk about divine and feminine and masculine, and at all. So as you can understand, the period wasn't welcomed as it is. So it was a lot of pain, there was a lot of suffering. It thought to be absolutely natural to feel pain, to feel to be on the roller coaster of these up and downs, emotionals and hormone, and to feel frustrated and lost. It was like a normal thing, which didn't make me feel happy, you know. So, and I understand that there are lots of girls, teenage, young women who feel the same even now. So there was no mom connection, as I told you before. There were lots of taboos about sexuality, menstruation. There was a lot of taboos to talk inside the house or maybe among friends and discuss what you really feel, what you can do. And all this was growing inside me for many years, let's say. From the age of 14 until the age of 28, there were lots of diseases and disorders connected with feminine organs, with the womb. There was lots of pain. My period was never steady. There were delays. There was too much blood, not enough blood. There was a lot of hormonal treatment. I was put on birth control twice in my life. So as a result, it is low self-esteem. You don't believe in yourself. You don't accept. I didn't accept myself as a woman. And after this unpleasant journey during my menstrual life, at the age of 28, it was a final point when I got to the ambulance again with a severe pain. And after several days of investigation, I was told that I have a progressive and aggressive myoma, and it is a high possibility that I could never have children in my life. That was a turning point in my life, you know. To tell you the truth, I was a free child thinker, so it was okay for me not to have children, but it wasn't okay to have any kind of physical disorders, to not to be healthy at all. And as I practiced by this time meditation and yoga already, it was time to move forward, and I started working with power plants. I used to work for about 5 years with one shaman. A beautiful experience, a beautiful person with a medical education, a practitioner of Chinese medicine. I used to be his translator for some time, and during this period of time, it was a lot of healing, a lot of experience, a lot of learning about self-healing, about herbalism, about plants, everything that I could get from this experience, I got it. And after that, I moved to India, where I spent 2 years. I was also studying, apart from yoga and meditation, I was, and I'm still is, very interested in Ayurveda. So I was studying a lot of Ayurveda and practicing still my things. And I met my partner. So when I met my partner, there was another level up of awakening because of a sudden, as I have already said, pregnancy. So why I say sudden? Because first of all, I already knew and I have already accepted that I'm not going to have children in my life. And also this pregnancy was too fast. I got pregnant for the first time in my 31 years old. My first pregnancy after 1 month of a relationship with a man. So as you can guess, I was taken by surprise. I was shocked. I was scared to death. And after I relaxed and accepted the new situation into my life, I realized that I started embracing my feminine. I started embracing my true power, myself as a woman, as a person who came here in a woman's body. So after that shock, and at the same time healing, I stepped into conscious pregnancy and conscious solar birth giving, where I didn't experience any pain. I didn't have lots of problems with my pregnancy and birth giving as well. So after that, when my child was born, I realized that the next step of the continuation of the story would be a natural goddess journey with a natural menstrual awareness. So actually my menstrual awareness happened after conscious pregnancy, after aware birth giving. So by that time I have already lived in Mexico, and I had a great chance to communicate with healers, with mothers and grandmothers. We call them curandera or abuelita here in Mexico. So I had a beautiful opportunity to join with very wise women who talk a lot about healthy feminine, connection with your divine, connection with your body, with your womb. And after lots of years of stepping into this experiment, communication with my body, recollection of the information, I have developed this series of workshops that I'm going to share with you today and the following 2 months. You know, after these years of recollection, investigation, experimenting, finally I understood that I welcome period in my life. I love period. I am happy when my moon comes, and I really enjoy and cherish my bleeding time and all the cycle I live. So I realized that this is the time to come out of the shadow. This is the time to speak my truth, to share everything I know, because I see a lot of women and men as well who feel frustration about menstruation. So this is the biggest reason why I am here. And I am very happy to welcome you again. And I'm very grateful that you express your desire to share this journey with me. So the plan for today is to talk about some reasons why we need to love our menstruation, our period. Also, I'm going to share in details all the workshops with you. I'm going to present you the program where I'm going to share with you what is our plan for the next 2 months. But first of all, I would like you to invite you for interaction and discussion some of the questions. So I would like to share with you my screen. Yeah. And before we start talking about the reasons why we should love our cycle, I would like to invite you to interact if you are ready to share your experience or maybe some of your doubts. There are some questions to discuss. So first of all, I would like to ask you, what do you really associate your menstruation with? when your period comes, what is your first thought? What do you think about? Like, wow, finally it comes. Oh no, several days of suffering again, or I will eat too much these days, and there is going to a lot of pain coming. So what is your association? What do you relate your menstruation with? Also, I would like to know, how did your perspective on your cycle changed during your life experience and time? Because actually, on average, we bleed about 35 years during our lifetime, every month. So it is a huge part of our life. And it is really important to be conscious about that. What is really happening, how do I feel, what I eat, do I suffer, or do I feel joy? So how does your perspective change, and your attitude to your menstruation change during your bleeding experience? I would really love to hear what brought you here, and if you have any expectations from this course, what are they? What do you think? Why is it important to raise the topic of menstruation awareness? And what can you bring to raise your awareness? If you know any taboos, or maybe you have faced some taboos about menstruations, would you like to share them? Would you like to put some light on them? Would you like to clarify? And also, I would like to invite you to reflect and ask yourself a question. Do I talk about bleeding? Do I feel shame talking about bleeding? Is it okay for me to tell somebody that now I am in my moon? Do I share information about my cycle? Do I share that I really feel lots of ups and downs, like emotional disorders? Do I want to say that I really want to be alone these days? And am I ashamed of my process? Do I feel shame? Yeah. And the last question to discuss is like, do I want to make peace with my period? Am I still fighting? Am I still on the battlefield or with my menstruation? So these are questions to discuss, and I invite men and women to share if there is anything you would like to bring up for discussion. Anybody?
I can start.
Yeah, please, Lilian.
There's so many questions. Which one do I start?
You choose one.
All right. So what do I associate my menstrual with? I guess that I associate with the slow down and be present. So sometimes it can be, well, I can share with you the old self and the now self. The old self is I just keep on doing work, do. And then when it's come, oh, okay, just go to the shop and get a pad, and that's it. And then continue to do what I do. Like without even really need to tune in or what does my body tell me and anything. But I just thought that it's part of women. And it just sometimes I think about, I love to be a man. It's one day. Next life, I want to be the man. I don't want to carry the pad in my bag. And then when you go to the meeting, I have to carry another bag. Like it can be back-to-back meeting at work. I was like, I had to sit there. I had like holding. I was like, oh, my tummy is so painful, so crying. But I still need to listen to my boss. So that is this is the old self. It's still like pushing all the way. And when you say pushing, it's actually become like a more normalized. And when you become normalized, you don't hear that little sound in your body. So when you don't hear the little sound in your body, you become separation. And then later on, I found that it's so hard to listen to that little voice. And then which is I need to really force myself to start tune in and listen. And by listening to it, it's also a lot of skeptical. Nah, that sound is not right. That's not me. Or maybe I can get that sounds to be a little bit softer, like you don't pretend you didn't sit here at all. So yeah, obviously it's a lot of egoic and judgment, but that judgment and egoic is about myself. And it's sort of like I judge myself. I judge my body. So that was the old self. And then how do I progressively learn to not to self-talk myself like that? And that is a piece of self-love. So yeah, so I will be, so that is what the first one that I can associate, because the menstrual, for me, menstrual is part of self-love. See, she answered my question. Oh yeah.
Yes.
She always my extension, just to let you know. So yeah.
Thank you, Lillian, for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else wants to share?
Xenia, when you mentioned how you started bleeding and that story, it gave me chills. Like I dropped into my own story, and I also was in the camp, in the summer camp. And it was a story that like we had a room of maybe like 7 or 8 girls in one room, like teenage girls, like, I don't know, 13 years old or something. And apparently, I think most of the girls in that room started bleeding the same day. So we had a really like powerful synchronization. I remember that. So I didn't really feel shame, but I was like so shocked. I was really like, what? And I felt like we felt that like the smell was there. The pain was there. There were some girls who started doing that before. So I'm not sure I remember if it was only me who was the first time bleeder or something, but it was kind of like, and my mom was in that town, and I asked her, and she just got me the pads without any explanation, like how to use them, like how to, anything. And I was so confused. And to be honest, like, I had some older friends around me, and I was kind of like waiting, when I'm gonna, when is it gonna happen? I thought that it's like initiation into the into the adulthood. But then when it happened, I was so disappointed. I was like, well, that's what I was waiting for. And then obviously like childhood age, I also grew up in a family where it was not welcome to talk about it, to communicate. Moreover, like my dad and my brother, they would always make fun and jokes about like, oh, why are you so nervous? Are you on your period? And it was like, whenever if you have anything, like you forget your pads in the bathroom or anything, it would be like so shameful. And so it was like full of shame. And I was also forced to be on birth control because my period was so painful, like so much tension. I was on birth control in my uni ages for almost like 5 years or something. And then I stopped maybe like at the age of like 21 or something of that kind. And then maybe a little bit later, like closer to 23, I think. But then the period got less painful. The period got like more stabilized and more like the cycle got synchronized. And then I always say in it this way, like my child's father, my ex-husband, he healed me in a way. So like when we met, it kind of like synchronized. So it was kind of like more stable. I think it just like the hormonal level was more stable. But I was so ashamed of even talking about it, or like, yeah, we were all conditioned with pads, tampons and all this. So we were like using that because we knew nothing better, right? And then I was working and like had a pretty intense 24/7 job and like a personal assistant, and I could never take a break for honoring this condition. I could never give myself like some time to rest or anything. So it was like quite intense. But then so it was happening for quite a long time. But then actually just last year, no, 2 years ago, when I started learning about Tantra, about divine feminine embodiment and all this, I was pretty shocked. Like, whoa, okay, that's what we start with. And then just before that, I got a cup first time. And when I got a cup first time, I was very confused. I was like, oh, and where do I put this blood? And what if I put it in my garden? Is it going to attract all the snakes and lizards? And had all this like confusion about it. So I was really like in this process. But then I started going deeper and connecting, and I also teach that to my on my mentorship and programs, not in the same holistic way, but not in the same herbal way as you do, in a different way, obviously. So for me, it's an upgrade to an honor to be in your space so that I can learn something else. And then I was kind of like surprised when I got into that understanding that this is where divine embodiment starts with. And actually communicating to man openly and freely about your condition. This is where the divine masculine embodiment starts from. And I'm so goosebumps saying that. And then that's where my idea of creating a program about, I called it Shiva Shakti Dance, but it was never launched. So it was kind of like an idea of sharing this wisdom with the man so that women can awaken more man, or so that women can communicate about their condition. And it's actually, I see it this way, like it's if the women embrace the cycle and have this menstrual awareness, they kind of like have and communicate openly and freely about it to their partners, we have an opportunity to actually embrace the emotional intelligence globally and influence eradicate all the conflicts. So we don't actually need to have all these conflicts connected with emotional swing, because in that case, we honor our body and prioritize our body and give ourselves that rest and beauty when that is necessary. And then also when my process started a couple of years ago, I started honoring this process. Like sometimes I can have like a few days of not really delay, but like in and out, waiting. And before I would be like anxiously waiting. So okay, when is that gonna happen? And then later I was like, okay, whatever. Like I'm honored. And I had this different process. Like before I was synchronized with the new moon. And here in this area, most women are synchronized with the full moon, and I see it as a manipulation and control. And I recently started synchronizing with the full moon, probably for me to understand all the madness of the depth of this process. Like, women are synchronized with the moon. The moon itself is quite messy. And then when they bleed at the full moon, it means that they are so, especially when they're emotionally unaware, they're so messy. And it's like amplified with the full moon. And some women, in the cities, they have no idea about the moon. They're just so messy. And destroying we as women, we hold so much power and beauty, and when we are consciously unaware, we destroy the village with the fire of that dragon coming from inside. And and I brought a dragon to your so this is the emotional intelligence and sacred sexuality dragon. So I want to share it with your space, because I truly believe that the red dragon is the dragon who is not supposed to destroy the village, but is supposed to build the worlds and the universes and the support the nature and the natural flow. And especially actually it was you who shared with me that okay, you can use your blood to fertilize the plants. I was like, okay, wow, that's I think that my pineapple in the garden is grown because of you. So pineapple.
I'm a pineapple.
So and it's been interesting journey also, like, you know, we've been conditioned. I'm sorry it's taken me too long. We've been conditioned with the society, like, about, okay, you have to shave, you have to do this, you have to use pads, you have to be ashamed, okay, you're licking, you're like, and all this like advertising on the TV and stuff. And I was it was an interesting process for me to discover that actually this is not what we are supposed to be doing. And actually, when we use a cup, or when we like grow, like also this quote which you shared with me, and I also use this like painting technique with my clients, and it's actually life-changing experience, like when you start loving your blossom, your flower, your bleed. And so I usually try to wear something red for the bleed time. I usually try to wear something like some special kind of jewelry connecting with me, with my mom and lineage, or I usually try to buy myself some flowers when I bleed, because I celebrate my bleed. And I usually try to restock the food before I go into bleed if I manage, so that I can give myself these 2 days of like uninterrupted happiness. And I'm so happy, like I can lie down and do nothing. Yes, it can be cramps, it can be painful, it can be difficult, but at the same time I can allow myself that time when I can cancel the classes. So yeah, I'm complete. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Victoria, for sharing. Actually, you brought up lots of things as well, that you took some things from the tip of my tongue, you know, because I remember all this school time when we are girls and we see somebody bleeding or somebody licked, and actually it is all that covered with shame, you know, and so much shame around. And when you share this the story with your husband, actually when I met mine, I realized that he's so ready to talk about my process. I remember all my friends and so on saying the same thing. You are in your period. Again, you are so angry, or even more angry than usual. And actually, when my nowadays partner, a father of my son, my wake upper alarm, you know, telling me that, are you in your process? How do you feel? Would you like to lie down? Do you want me today to cook something? And I felt like, wow, this is so much space to grow, not only for me, but for both of us. And, you know, recent story, fresh story. I have just finished my period, and my son, 2 days ago, he asked me, Mommy, are you in a full moon today? And I said, like, what? And he said, there is a little bit of blood there. Are you bleeding? And, you know, I was so touched. It is so nice that actually this is not only, it is true, this is not only about us. And I'm so happy Kyle is sharing this space with us and holding our space for us today, because it is all very much connected. So very much, thank you very much, Victoria, for sharing. And Lillian, is anybody else who wants to share before we move?
I also wanted to read. I'm sorry. Okay, just a little bit. Okay, I want to weigh in with the teenagers before that teen, especially for the boy. So I have last year, so I had a courage to bring into the conversation to my boy, and he's 12 and this year 13. And because the school we're talking about, you know, the boys and the girls and the body changes, and somehow, and I remember that one afternoon, I can't remember that what is bringing into these conversations. So we had that open conversation, and it's so funny that we actually sit in a toilet and talk. And then we sit there, and then the conversation just flow. And I sort of like, I don't know, it's sort of like, I don't know, I don't want to be too much. And then he was like, whoa, right? But the conversation just flowed as I mentioned to her about the blood, the menstrual cycle for women. So because he's in the co-ed school with the girls and the boys, you know, some girls can be up and down, and just sort of like describe what is menstrual cycle. and how is this hormonal or emotional cycles for women. I mean, not women, the girls, and when they're starting and what to, it's just sort of awareness. And she said, and he said, what do I need to do, Mom? You do nothing. So you don't need to do anything. But when you see something, when you hear something, you just be just holding that space for the, if the girl is like, it can be very emotional. Some girls, they cry, and some girls can be very angry and pulling their hair out, and they've been like, they can be like talking bad things about anyone. The little like teenagers, that can be like their hormone can be very up and down. So not like women that can be controlled, right? But those just coming into initiation, it just, they don't even know what they're doing. So it's just for awareness. I said, just for awareness. So yeah. And he always said, oh, if that happened, I will run. I will run away. And come back the next day. So you don't have to run. So, but the girls would just, if they're angry, they would just walk away. So yeah, nothing that you need to do, but just for awareness. So yeah, and I showed him about the pad, that how does that look like. So yeah, and I put a little bit of water in there on the tap, so it's soaking, and it's can see how much can soak into the water. It's like, whoa, it's so heavy. That was real, like raw talk. So yeah, and then I also showed him about the little panty liner. What is a panty liner for? Because it's all in the drawer, right? What is the difference? So the big one, the small one. So yeah, so that is all the conversation. And I was having so much protection over him because I don't want to be like overload. But he received it so well. Like I don't have to worry. But they receive it so well. And I just so healing for me as internal that generation, the future children or the generation to come, is the education piece and also conversations that heart to heart. So it's not like looking at other friends or, and just really pointing out of like talking about the girls, oh, you got like hormonal or something like that. But do they actually know what hormonal means? So yeah. So that is about the piece of me I wanted to be in as those teenagers or going to, especially the teen, not teenagers, yeah, but the teen, but from 10 to 12, that age in between. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Lilian.
Yeah, over to you, Carl, now.
Thank you. Honestly, it's been a blessing through my journey with, especially at work, helping, supporting like my coworkers. So I've been like, my whole journey I've mostly been working with like women and girls, and there's been such a huge blessing in that, of like holding the space. And I was working with essential oils for the last 4 years, and we had a blend. It was called Moon Cycle. So I just wanted to learn as much as I could to like how to help like the women, the girls, like all age groups to come in, right? So it was a blend with like peppermint and grapefruit, and all of that. And I just was like, I wanted to learn more. I was so intrigued because with my sister and my mom, and could see that they were definitely having like a difficult time when they had like, when my mom was shifting through like the change of life. And then my sister, how because we're twins, my twin sister and I, so I could feel her pain, like I could feel like her cramps, I could feel it all. And I just have so much compassion. Like I'm like, why do women go through so much? Like my heart would just go out to them. Like, they're the ones that are pregnant, they go through the period, they go through all this change. And just being in that space growing up, I was just like, wow, that's gotta be tough. It's gotta be tough to manage. And emotionally too, especially, right? Like, like when I have cramps, I'm like, oh, it's like tough sometimes, right? Because it just hits you out of the blue. And I just try to use my tools too in deep breathing. So when I was with the essential oils, like my coworkers would come up to me and be like, Kyle, like I'm having a hard time. So I would hold space for them to breathe. I'm like, okay, like let's just breathe together. Just like do that deep breathing. And like I have like my Reiki, so I would just put like a hand on their back and just hold that space and just help to bring that like nurturing space to them, right? And I said put that. I would come up with different blends as well. I'm just like, just roll it on your stomach. Like we had one, it was called like Eater's Digest, so it had like fennel and peppermint. So I'm like, roll the Eater's Digest on, put the moon cycle on, like making sure you're drinking lots of water and just taking that time. And I would just say, if you need like time, just like go in the back. Like I got the floor, like it's fine. Like I understand, like I completely understand. So it was just such an honor to just hold that space. And now with my job now with the girls, it's helping them through it to be like, because we have essential oils too with my current job. So it's just bringing all that education and that awareness and just holding that space because like I can handle it. Like it doesn't scare me, right? And I was even talking about to an employee today about the Connect tonight, and she says, like, let me know what you learned so you could teach me. And I'm like, for sure. Like, so I'm just like, it's just such an honor to just, like, I love education. I love learning. Like, I love like knowledge. So like any way that I could just help support. And then, yeah, it's just, yeah, just being that rock for women, that like safe, sacred space for women to come to, you know, and just thank you all of you women for all that you go through and all that you do. And you're all like inspirations, definitely real life Wonder Woman. So thank you for having me in this sacred space as well. Love you all.
Thank you so much, Kyle. Thank you, Kyle. And now I have an idea. We can actually collaborate when we start talking about essential oils, because this is one of the points we are going to discuss soon. Yeah, and thank you very much for sharing. We bring up lots of things we could discuss here because, yeah, it is a kind of a educational series of workshops. I'm going to give you a lot of information, and you will know a little bit further what exactly I'm going to talk about. But also, this is the space for us to share and to share and to interact and to collaborate together and to join all our knowledge, experience. Because today, for example, Victoria, she brought up emotional intelligence, and I also going to bring a little bit information about it today. But actually, yes, right now we are like growing a plant together. We're going to collaborate, all of us. So Jennifer, would you like to share something or we move on?
I think we can move on. I'm not sure what to say.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
So I would love to move to the reasons to love our period. So before I start talking about the program as well, and before I start sharing what is our plan for the future, first of all, I would love to share with you and to like also make you reflect a little bit about why should we love our period. What is the reason to welcome it in our life? What is the reason to cherish our period, and how can we really enjoy it and wait for it to come? Not because we are anxious if we are pregnant or not, or whatever, like really embrace our power. So the first reason to love our period, first of all, it gives us an opportunity to re-educate ourselves, to renovate ourselves, to be the part of our renovation and remembering as a divine being, as a divine feminine. All of us, girls, young women, mature women, elderly women, we all have the same beginning and the same end. And actually, all of us are united as a multidimensional feminine collective. So today we were talking about pain. It is a collective pain. It is a collective pain body. All women, why do we synchronize? Because it is a collective feminine. So this is one of the reasons to love your period, because it really gives you an opportunity to learn more about yourself, to re-educate yourself. Yesterday, you didn't accept your period. You didn't want it to come because you know you were suffering. Today, you learn step by step to embrace yourself with your period, to enjoy it, to educate yourself, to renovate yourself. So as a result, all this education and renovation of ourselves also activates in our memory ancestral knowledge from our mothers, great grandmothers, great grandmothers, ancestral sisters. We accumulate and recollect the knowledge, and all of us, mostly all of us, we were brought up in love, in care, as jewels. And this knowledge that we accumulate, that we remember, gives us an opportunity to respect other women, to respect ourselves, to love. It teaches us self-love. We remember our culture. We honor the great force and unity, feminine unity and unity with the universe. So the next reason also to love the period is that it generates the connection with the totality, with the universe. And, you know, like all of us are synchronized, yes, and we are synchronized with ourselves, our sisters. So we synchronize ourselves with life, with our life cycle. So the other reason to love our period also is our inner guidance system, you know. So actually, it is a lot of self-work and self-knowledge when we synchronize ourselves with our period, with all our stages of our period. I'm not talking only about the menstruation. So, and we go deeper in ourselves. We open up, first of all, for ourselves and then to the world. So cycle is our inner guidance system. You know, when we are connected with our cycle, we have a direct line to you have a direct line to yourself, to all the phases and layers of your being, of your divine being. When you build your inner knowing about who you are and what you need to do, you follow your inner impulse, you can experience a direct knowledge of your purpose, of your call, why you are here. And another reason also is the period is here. This is something natural. And this is the reason why you are here. So all the cycles, all our cycles, and I have already mentioned, we have a lot. We have like 30 years on average, every month bleeding. And every period, every cycle is meaningful. Its healthy functioning is fundamental for our well-being. It is also an amazing means of creation, of life creation. So healthy menstruational cycle is a fertile cycle, and it is a sign that you are alive, you are well, you are creative actually, because it is a cycle of creation, and it is not a cycle of a birth given to a child. It is also an opportunity to give a birth to one project or many projects, different projects, because every cycle you get pregnant, you develop, and you give birth. So being connected with your inner guidance system and being connected with your period, loving your period, you cherish yourself, you cherish your body, all your systems, all your organs, all your whole being, because actually it is all connected, like they have a direct connection there. It is all connected. The other reason to love your period is because it is your diagnostic tool, and it gives you an opportunity to understand that you are healthy, or maybe to understand that there is something that you have to pay your attention to. According to your blood color, according to your blood smell, according to your feelings, you understand the level of your wellness, the level of your health, and the level of your well-being. So also it can be a stress management system as well. When you practice menstrual awareness, you cooperate with the energy and emotions, and you respect your natural ups and downs, and you balance your extrovert and introvert inside. Then you have a sustainable life. You live sustainably. So you will soothe your nerve system. You will be more kind, understanding, compassionate, and first with yourself. And when you are kind to yourself, you spread compassion, kindness, and love around in the family, at work, with your friends, and you spread more. So also, you are more aware of your needs and of your boundaries. You know that we are almighty women that can do everything, and sometimes we don't know where our limits are, whether we have any boundaries at all, and sometimes we don't even understand what we really need. So menstrual awareness and menstruation teaches you to build your boundaries, to understand your needs, to understand how to love, embrace, first of all, me, my divine self. And this means to be mindful, not about only the process you are going through, but also to be mindful about your life cycle. And also we have to remember that menstruation is a cleansing process, a purging. This is an emotional and physical detox. So that releases stress, that releases the tension, and it gives you an opportunity to rest and to repair. One more also very important thing about period love, it provides us with love and bliss hormone. Do you know the name? It is okay. It is oxytocin, and this hormone gives us this feeling of glory, of blissfulness, of joy. And actually, it is really easy to get this washout of oxytocin while you bleed. Easy peasy. You do nothing. The very moment your period comes, you forget about your to-do list. You talk to your family, you talk to your homies, you even talk to your colleagues, and you reduce your tasks, you reduce your things to do. It is this period actually when you bleed, this is the great opportunity to learn to ask for help. You know, we are almighty women. We can do everything. We can manage everything. We take care about for our children. We cook, we clean, we do the business, we create. We can do everything. We're almighty, and we actually don't know how to ask for help. So this is the right time. 1 second, please. I'm sorry. Luka, закрой дверь, пожалуйста. Пожалуйста. I'm sorry. So this is the great time for you to learn to ask for help, to lay responsibility, to delegate the tasks, to express yourself, to share how you feel. And this is the great time for you to learn to chill, to relax, to lay down, to go into your cave, to enjoy your loneliness, and give this hormone of bliss and love and joy, just give you a waterfall of nice, beautiful feelings. And now the practice comes. I invite you all to practice the oxytocin breathing. Yeah. So it is not only for women and for bleeding women. So Kyle, you also have a great opportunity to feel this hormone moving in your body right now. So even I understand that not all of us are freelancers or self-occupied and have our business. Some of us need to go to the office. Some of us need to do some job, or some of us are very busy. So you can experience this hormone bliss in a very short time. So I invite you to practice a short exercise. So what you need to do is just sit comfortably with the up straight position. Also, you can lie down, you relax your body, you can close your eyes, and you take a deep breath through your nose, and you breathe out with a sign of pleasure. Put your hands on your chest, breathe in and breathe out with your mouth with a sign of pleasure. And one more time. So the more you express your pleasure, the more loud you breathe out, you can feel all your body start blinking and tickling, and you feel this joy coming out of you, and all your blood cells are filling up with this pleasure you enjoy. So this is actually what our menstrual cycle, when we bleed, this period of time, gives us the opportunity to experience it when you chill, when you relax, when you lie down, and you give yourself an opportunity 1 or 2 days while bleeding, just do nothing. Forget about all the things we have to do, all the things we had to do and are coming in the future. You just relax, you lie down, you inform your family or people you share that I am going to go into my cave now. We take food today. We don't clean the house. We enjoy. And I assure you that your family, your partner, your children will be really happy to join you in this cave time, or maybe join you experiencing this glory. And one more, the last but not the least important thing to embrace your period is that period, actually, this is the female shamanic path. Actually, when the woman who has embodied fully her menstrual cycle becomes a shamanic woman, a medicine woman. Through menstrual awareness, we raise our consciousness, we raise our frequency, our energy, our strength, power, and intuition. So menstrual awareness, actually, it facilitates us the experience of this ecstatic feeling, ecstasy, deep feeling of belonging, of oneness with the whole. So I think these are quite enough reasons to start loving your period, start embracing your bleeding, and there are more reasons, of course, to come. Question: would you like to have a short break? I'm going to share the program, and I'm going to share details of our future upcoming events. And if there is a need of 2 minutes break, we can do it, or if not, I can proceed. What do you think? No break? Okay, great. So we all live and used to live under the suppression of our power, of under the shame. But I think now is the time to come into our power, to step into our power, to claim our power back. And I'm going to share with you 7 workshops more. And also I would like to comment here that we're going to meet for 1 hour, 1 hour and a half every fortnight since today. And also I want to mention that I also provide one-to-one session of conscious bleeding support. You can always contact me, we can arrange a meeting, and we can talk face-to-face about your hesitates, doubts, and questions you have about the menstrual awareness. So after 2 weeks, we are going to talk about synchronization with your period. And we are going to talk about all the phases of our periods. So there are 4 of them. So we are going to know every season we are going through. This meeting, we are going to talk about hormones, what the balance and disbalance. We are going to talk about what food is better to eat during each phase and what supplements we can take, or maybe it is supplements we can take to, for example, avoid weakness during our bleeding, or maybe to help us feel better, because when we bleed, we lose a lot of iron. So what actually we can eat every cycle, ovulation or bleeding cycle, what we can eat and what natural supplements we can take to help ourselves. We are going to talk about physical activity and exercises, what kind of yoga we can do during each phase, what kind of yoga or any other physical exercises we can do during ovulation, during bleeding time, or after that. Also, we are going to interact about our emotions and feelings and how we can balance our ups and downs during each phase. And of course, we're going to talk about some hacks and tips to synchronize with our cycle, to know what phase exactly I am going through, what is coming, and how can I help myself to feel good, to feel well, and to enjoy every little day of our life. Whether I am bleeding, whether I am ovulating, whether I have just finished bleeding, and what should I do and how can I synchronize. So this is the first workshop we are going to dedicate our interaction for all phases of our period. The next meeting will be dedicated to menstruation itself, my moon. So we are going, first of all, we are going to talk about the responsibility of self-care and care of our planet. We are going to talk about being eco-friendly, and we are going to learn to be aware of contamination. So all the pros and cons of washable pads, menstruation cups, menstruation discs for girls, other opportunities that we can choose in order not to contaminate our planet, our Mother Gaia, our Tara, yes? So we're going to talk about all types of menstrual cups. We're going to learn what menstrual cups really fits me because I'm a mother, because I gave a natural birth, or maybe I'm just a girl or who just started bleeding, so menstrual cup is not for me, but I don't like using pads because I don't feel comfortable, because I feel dirty, so what else I can choose? So we're going to talk about this. Also, we are going to talk about blood recollection and offering, as Victoria has already mentioned, and as it turned out is that I'm her pineapple in the garden. You can actually use your blood for your garden, and actually there is no need to get rid of your blood. You can offer it back to your mother, to the Mother Earth, because you come from here and you offer your blood back. So we are going to dedicate quite a lot of time talking about this event, how you can offer your blood, how can you recollect it, how can you cherish your blood, and how can you make your garden blossom 1,000 times more. You will be amazed how it really is possible when your garden is wow because of your and thanks to your blood. And also one more important thing, as I told you before, blood is our menstruation, is our guidance, like our diagnostic tool, our medicine control. So according to the blood color, to the smell of our blood, we can understand if we are healthy, if we lack some vitamins in our body, if there is something we need to improve in our system. So we are also going to talk about blood itself, the structure, the color, even the smell. Maybe right now it sounds a little bit yucky, but actually it is a little, without judgment here. There is no judgment here, and actually we can learn a lot through our blood, because our blood, our menstrual blood, is talking to us every time we menstruate, every time we bleed. After that, we are going to talk about self-care and our menstrual wellness. We are going to pay attention to our cramps and pain. We will find the reasons of this pain. We definitely are going to talk about cravings, how much you eat during your menstruation. What do you eat? Do you allow yourself tons of chocolate, as I used to do, you know? I used to say that I have a black hole when I bleed. I used to eat 3 times more when I bleed. Like I could never satisfy myself, and it is a very important thing to talk about, because when you are not aware, you can eat whatever you want, and then you think like, oh gosh, why did I do this? Why did I eat this or that? And now my face is full of pimples, and I don't want to see myself like this, but I ate 3 kilos of chocolate before. So yeah, it is very important to talk about cravings. Of course, I'm going to share my herbalism knowledge, and I'm going to share herbs with you, and mixture of herbs to help you when you bleed too much, when you don't bleed, when you have a delay, what herbs are abortive, what herbs you have to avoid taking when you have your period, and all kind of herbs that can help you to synchronize with your process. Also, it is a very interesting and important thing to learn digital pressure and even moxibustion. It is a very interesting, because you can hit some points in your body and avoid any kind of pain at all. And also we are going to include here aromatherapy. I didn't include it on the slide, but I would also like to talk with you about aromatherapy and mixture of essence that can help you also to relax, to balance your emotions, to avoid some pain. We are going to talk about emotional freedom technique. If you have some comings, or you feel too emotional, or maybe aggressive, or you are crying without reason, so we can use emotional freedom techniques to help ourselves. Here we also can talk about delays, why it happens, what can we do. We are going to talk about pregnancy, so why don't we bleed at that time, when the first bleeding comes after pregnancy, and what herbs we have to avoid when we are pregnant. So it all comes to a cycle instability. If there are more questions to pop up during or after, you can bring up your questions and we will talk live about this. After that, I would like to dedicate one event to vaginal care, to our temple, to our womb, and we're going to learn some techniques of womb breathing. We are going to talk about famous and trendy yoni egg, varieties of yoni eggs, who can use it, if girls can use it, if I'm a virgin, can I use it, what gem is suitable for me, how long I can use a yoni egg, how should I take care of it, how should I connect with my yoni egg. And also it is very much connected with Kegel exercises if there are women who just gave birth and their womb is low. So what kind of techniques we can do to have our womb, our feminine organs toned and healthy. One more important thing is yoni steam. And here I'm going to as well share herbs, recommendations, why should we do it, what disorders and diseases we can balance with yoni steaming. We are going to talk about different herbs for different occasions, like cystitis, like delays, like too painful bleeding. And we are going to talk about different body positions for yoni steam, and there are different devices that you can steam your womb and your organs with, and you can use some body positions. So we are going to dedicate this workshop to our temple, to the wellness of and well-being of our temple. The fifth workshop is very creative. We are going to use our hands. We are going to use our source of creation. We are going to to create different things. We can also discuss it before. I can give you some ideas right now, and you will share what would you like to do, what does resonate with you, what do you feel for. Here I would like to talk about journaling. I would like to invite you to create your personal journal and your personal calendar, your personal mandala for your cycle, where you can talk about your emotions, where you can put what you feel during every phase, how you feel, what is your attitude, did you have how much water you drank. So you can actually combine everything in this journal and your calendar. I am going to share with you how to create your womb belt. I have already mentioned that I create womb belts for women for different occasions. If you want to get pregnant, if you already are, if you are after birth, and if you breastfeed. So actually, you can do your own womb belt. You can choose your gem, you can choose your color, you can choose your design, and you can create one of your own. Also, I would be very happy to share with you a beautiful Mexican technique, ritual technique of creating your own mandala, your own ojo de Dios. You can see one behind my back. I created for my son. And also, you can create your own. It is very easy technique, and we can do one dedicated especially for your process, for your moon. And as a natural continuation, we can also create some light codes, and we can also create a common transmission for our process. And if there is even more interest, we can dedicate some time to create your personal washable pad, how to sew it, what material to choose, because sometimes here in Mexico we work with communities or with communities with women who actually have very low education and very low education about sexuality, about your process. So I have some friends here who travel and share how to sew your personal washable pad. So it's actually, you don't need to go and buy one. You can sew and make your own one. You just need a pattern, you just need a fabric that doesn't leak, that doesn't make you comfortable, that absorb well. So actually we can also discuss this thing during our crafty workshop. And the last one is male gathering. So here we also have lots of things to discuss. We are going to talk about, first of all, of course, we are going to talk about difference between men and women's body. We are going to talk like you said today, Kyle, you go through a lot, but you also go through a lot. You also have your periods, and it is not necessary that you bleed, but you also have things to talk about and to feel, and you also go through a lot. And we really understand, we divine feminine, we women, we mothers, we understand that men also go through a lot, and this is also important to talk and share. So we are going to talk about this vulnerability and of men as well, because, and this communication, for example, mother and son, this is a lot to share. I feel this. What do you feel? What are you going through? So yeah, we are going to talk about also why this workshop is very important for men, because there are men who raise daughters by ourselves, or as my grandfather did. My grandmother was there physically, but she never explained her two daughters how to take care of themselves when they bleed. All the job my grandfather did. So actually, I don't know how well he managed to do this. And I have no idea how he felt explaining his two teenage girls what to do when you bleed. Yeah. So I think we can raise this level of education for men to explain your daughter, even if you are the only one to explain what you can do, how you can wash, how you take care of yourself, and what is happening with you when you are a girl, when you are a teenager, when you are a young woman, and when you are a mature woman ready to enter the menopause as well. It is also very important for the partners, for the husbands, for the fathers, and we are also going to talk about it. As a result of all this connection, of course, we are going to talk about pregnancy. I know there is a lot of frustration among men and women if when it is actually time to get pregnant, when is the time to avoid to get pregnant, and when is the best time to conceive our divine child, the fruit of our love. So this is one topic also to bring up during this workshop. And of course, we're going to touch the questions of cross-cultural attitude to menstruation. We are going to talk about our ancestral healing, the connection of heart with the womb, and sacred relationship in the family, in the couple, when your partner is bleeding. So yeah, a lot of things to talk about and to share. Yeah, if you have any questions, this is the time. Do you?
I'd love to know how Jennifer feels.
Yeah, me too.
I'm just enjoying this conversation. I'm not sure what to explain.
Is there any reflections while Xenia is doing the sharing?
Not that I can think of. Sorry.
Okay. So
Okay. So, there are lots of evidence of sacred power of menstrual blood. And I think in different cultures, and I think this is like the right time to claim our power back, to raise the question, to raise the menstrual awareness and the awareness itself among men and women, and start honoring our sacred regenerative properties of our wombs. And I think, like, with these words, I would like to finalize our pre-event and thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions, you are welcome to ask. If not, I will invite you for our next event that is going to happen in 2 weeks, Sunday at the same time. Or maybe you are ready to give some feedback.
yeah, thank you, Xenia, for such a great opening for the pre-event. And for those that will watch the replay or off on the Facebook, I remember that the Pachamama Sacred Temple is always open, and if any questions, sharings, you can pop along in that temple space. And that temple space is a very sacred space that holding really, really deep thread of ancient mothers' essences. So just be courageous, because it is the time for you to ask questions, to know yourself, because we don't want to be forever behind the screen, forever that don't even know our body, and not too late. The alarm is that alarm on your body that show up. So yeah, so thank you, Xenia, once again, to be the pioneer of the for the blood mystery for menstrual cycles, for divine feminine, divine masculine in the space, and truly deeply honor the work.
This is the honor for me, and I really appreciate this beautiful opportunity to come out of the shadow, to step up, to start speaking my truth, and to share this beautiful growing, blossoming of not only women and men as well, and children. You know, this is a fantastic feeling of having this opportunity to share, you know, to speak, to be there, to hold the space, and to feel the support, to feel that this is a mutual support, mutual love, mutual growth for all of us. And actually, yeah, it is a great honor for me, to be represented by Sacred Heart Valley, to work with you, to be heard. So I really appreciate this time with you, the opportunity, and yeah, this great feeling of oxytocin moving in my blood, you know. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. If that is not a question, then we will close. Someone want to go to the toilet, so we can close the gathering now. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next 2 weeks, okay? Alrighty.
Yeah.
Thank
See
you.
you soon.
See you. Bye.